The Era of Madness and the Start of the Atrocity, 1979, Showa 54. This year marked a historical low for Japan, recording 121 bank robbery incidents, the worst figure ever. This number, nearly double the previous year's total, highlighted social anxiety and the escalating brutality of crime. Within this context, the most tragic case of all unfolded. It was Friday, January 26, 1979, around 2:30 p.m. A man forced his way into the Mitsubishi Bank, Kitabatake branch, in Sumiyoshi Ward, Osaka. The man was Terumi Umekawa, then 30 years old. With a bizarre appearance, a black Tyrolean hat, sunglasses and a mask, Umekawa took a double-barreled shotgun from a golf bag and stormed into the ground floor through the north entrance. Inside, there were 34 employees and 17 customers, totaling 51 people. Umekawa had obtained a license to possess the shotgun, yet there was a peculiar legal loophole in the process. He had committed a brutal crime as a juvenile, but the juvenile law at the time stipulated that a minor's past offences shall not apply to regulations regarding qualifications. Therefore, despite knowing his dangerous history, the police were legally obliged to grant him the gun license. "Everyone down, get down." 2 warning shots echoed toward the ceiling, simultaneous with Umekawa's roar. A deafening blast resonated through the bank, sending fragments of concrete raining down on the floor. Amidst the screaming, Umekawa threw a red backpack onto the counter and demanded money. "Hand over the cash or I'll kill you. Give me 50 million yen in the next 10 seconds. The unexpected encounter and the victims. Under this intense pressure, one employee, Hiroshi Hagio, 20, managed to use an emergency phone to call for help on the second floor. Noticing this, Umekawa screamed, "What are you doing?" and fired his shotgun. Hagio was instantly killed by buckshot to the face and neck. Another nearby employee was also severely injured. Shaking with terror, section manager Moriwa filled the backpack with approximately 2.83 million yen and offered it to Umekawa. Umekawa had calculated 3 minutes until the police arrived. However, at that moment, the unexpected occurred. A female customer who had managed to escape the bank alerted Deputy Inspector Masami Kusumoto of the Sumiyoshi police station, who was patrolling on his bicycle, and he rushed to the scene. Deputy Inspector Kusumoto drew his pistol and shouted, "Drop the gun." Umekawa sneered, "Shoot me if you can," and fired 2 shots. Kusumoto was struck in the face and chest and died instantly, becoming the first police officer killed. Umekawa then fired at patrolman Kazuaki Mehata of the Abeno police station, who arrived in a patrol car. Mehata was also hit in the chest and killed. In this rampage, 2 bank employees and 2 police officers, a total of 4 people, were killed within minutes. This was the first time in a Japanese hostage crisis that the hostages had been killed. The perpetrator's background and vicious personality. This was not the first time Umekawa had killed. About 15 years earlier, in 1963, in his hometown of Hiroshima Prefecture, he had broken into his employer's residence, killed the president's sister-in-law, 21, with a knife, and stolen valuables. Umekawa was 15 at the time. Due to the brutality of the crime, he was sent to a reformatory. Records from the Hiroshima family court at the time indicated that despite having normal intelligence, he struggled with emotional control and lacked empathy. His upbringing was equally bleak. His parents had remarried, and he was an only child. His father was disabled by illness, and his mother divorced and worked constantly, leaving Umekawa neglected. He grew to despise his illiterate mother and began committing delinquency in middle school. Extreme loneliness and a lack of familial love were deeply entwined with the formation of his abnormal personality. After leaving the reformatory, he worked in Osaka as a bartender and debt collector, but failed to find a stable path. It is believed that in his despair, he began to identify with the protagonists of hard-boiled novels who achieved their ambitions with a gun despite a dark past. 42 hours of confinement and humiliation. Umekawa realized the bank was completely surrounded by armored cars, police cruisers, and over 1,000 officers. Accepting he couldn't escape, he decided to live out his last moments on his own terms. Umekawa occupied the branch manager's chair and ordered employees to build barricades with desks and lockers. Around 2:50 p.m., Umekawa demanded to see the branch manager. "Who is the person in charge?" Branch manager, "Step forward." When branch manager Koji Morioka, 47, identified himself, Umekawa roared, "Why didn't you hand over the money immediately? This is your fault," and fired his shotgun at close range. Morioka was instantly killed by buckshot to the chest. This brought the total number of victims to 5. Umekawa assigned the remaining hostages roles like spokesperson, telephone operator, and lookout, acting as an absolute dictator. Furthermore, he forced the female hostages into extremely humiliating behavior, using them as human shields. He claimed this was proof that servants must obey their lord's every command. These acts of extreme humiliation inflicted deep psychological distress on the female employees, yet they were powerless to defy Umekawa's orders. Abnormal rituals and the protracted siege. Umekawa even forced the hostages into abnormal acts of dominance that fostered mutual distrust among them. About 12 hours after the incident began, shortly after midnight on January 27th, the police arrested Umekawa's close friend, a taxi driver, on a separate theft charge, which finally revealed the perpetrator's real name: Terumi Umekawa. Umekawa constantly used the hostages as human shields, firing warning shots at the slightest noise. To survive, the employees began actively informing Umekawa when police approached, shouting, "Don't come closer, he'll kill us." A strange sense of unity emerged among them. The siege continued, and as the condition of the bodies deteriorated, Umekawa permitted the removal of the remains. Shortly after 2 a.m., the bodies of the 5 victims were successively carried out. The mother's plea and the end. As a last resort, the police flew Umekawa's mother, Shizuko, 73, from Kagawa by helicopter. With trembling hands, she wrote a letter with a ballpoint pen. "Your mother is here. Please release them quickly. It's your mother's request, from Mother." Umekawa had a female employee read the letter aloud, but his heart remained unmoved. "That's all my mother can write," he said. "Even so, she's all I have. We struggled together since I was a child. I love my mother dearly." A complex attachment to his mother and an unfulfilled sense of loneliness swirled within him. At 8:42 a.m. on January 28th, 42 hours after the incident began, the police special unit, the predecessor of today's SAT, saw an opportunity. In the instant Umekawa spread a newspaper with both hands, 7 team members simultaneously rushed in through a gap in the barricade. Startled by the shout of "Get down!" Umekawa lunged for his pistol, but it was too late. 6 pistols fired in unison. Umekawa was shot and transferred to the Osaka Police Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries in the operating room. His brain waves ceased completely at 5:43 p.m. that afternoon. The shadow the incident cast on society. The Mitsubishi Bank hostage crisis became the worst incident in Japanese history where hostages were killed, resulting in the deaths of 3 bank employees and 2 police officers after a 42-hour siege. The incident profoundly shocked Japanese society. After the crisis, security measures at financial institutions were drastically overhauled, leading to the introduction of bulletproof glass and double shutters. It also served as the catalyst for tightening the criteria for shotgun possession licenses under the Firearms and Swords Control Law. The madness of one man, tormented by loneliness and a lack of affection, whose resentment towards society festered, claimed 5 precious lives and left indelible scars on many. The Mitsubishi Bank hostage crisis remains a dark memory etched into the post-war history of Japanese crime.